This is the OnePlus Nord 2 and I've been using it as my primary for about 2 weeks. Now there are quite a few interesting things about this smartphone. For starters, it's the first OnePlus phone with a Mediatek chip inside. It's also the first OnePlus phone with Oxygen OS, which is based on Color OS. It supposedly has an excellent primary camera. The battery capacity has also gone up since the last time around, and the charger? Now, long story short, on paper the Nord 2 has a lot going for it. So what's the deal? Let's take a close look. I'm Ash, you're watching C4 Tech, and welcome to my full review of the OnePlus Nord 2 5G. And that is what we're going to start with, 5G. OnePlus has been criticized a lot for providing only a couple of 5G bands with their 5G smartphones in India. They do avoid that criticism here with the Nord 2 by going for 6 bands. That is a welcome change. Apart from that, we have carrier aggregation, so data speeds have been stable and cellular reception has also been fine. The earpiece, by the way, it's pretty loud and clear, and it also happens to double as a second speaker. The speaker output, I wouldn't call it the best, but it's still above average, especially in the loudness department. Now, while on the topic of audio, the headphone jack, well, it's non-existent since OnePlus have removed it. And talking about changes, at first glance, the Nord 2 resembles its predecessor a lot. And that's because in a lot of ways, it's pretty similar to the first gen Nord. The dimensions are close to identical. The display too, it's still 6.4-ish inches, Full HD Plus, Fluid AMOLED with a 90Hz refresh. The blue here makes it pleasantly Nord. The major changes, looks-wise, they're mainly with the optics. The selfie camera, now that's a single shooter this time around instead of the dual setup from the last time. So it's just a 32 megapixel f2.5, just the wide, the same primary as from the Nord 1. It's nothing to write home about. There's enough detail with the images. The skin tones come across fine, but the dynamic range, I'd say it leaves something to be desired. And it's pretty noticeable, especially when you're outdoors on a very sunny day like this. Just see how blown out the background is. Now next, the rear camera setup. The primary here is a 50 megapixel Sony IMX766. It's a 1x1.56 inch sensor with an f1.9 lens that happens to be optically stabilized. As you can see, the sensor size and the aperture make for nice bokeh. There's ample detail, the colors are pretty natural too. In fact, I'd say they are a tad better from what we usually get with OnePlus, and that's a lot because of the new software processing under the hood. We'll get to that in a bit. I also like the dynamic range here. Now, in UAE, I can't go around showing you blue skies because we don't have blue skies. It's generally very grayish. So let's take this image as an example. The sun's directly in the picture, but it's still not blown out. That's a nice example of how good the range is on this one. Under low light, again, the large sensor comes into play and also the optical stabilization. This results in pretty detailed and nice looking images. While on the topic of stabilization, video tops out at 4K 30, 8S squared stable. Not just the primary, even the ultra-wide video is serviceable despite being Full HD. And the ultra-wide, it seems to be same hardware from the last time around, 8 megapixels, f2.3. The stills, they're okay-ish. Nothing too good, nothing too bad to say here. Now, we did lose a sensor from the OG Nord, but Crimea River, I highly doubt anyone's gonna shed a tear over it. Last time we had 2 useless sensors, this time we have 1. In fact, I'd even go so far as to call it an effective use of space. Because you know what they've done with that extra space? The battery capacity, it's gone up from 4115 milliamp hour to 4500. And as we already saw, the dimensions have not increased. The weight too, it's gone up, yes, but by a mere 5 grams. So the Nord 2 remains just as wieldable as its predecessor. We still get Gorilla Glass 5 to the front and back with a plastic frame holding it all together. Now some might say Gorilla Glass Victus is the only one that's gonna save your phone if it falls. All other Gorilla Glasses will break. Newsflash, all glass breaks.
Glass is glass and glass can break.
You can see people dropping phones from 20 feet and having it survive, or dropping it from 3.5 feet and have the glass shatter. It depends on the angle of impact and, more importantly, luck. Gorilla Glass 5 on a phone in this segment is pretty decent in my humble opinion, unless you dislike the brand or something. Let's not go there. Anyway, now while the added battery capacity seems great in theory, OnePlus have also switched to a Mediatek chip inside. So I couldn't help but be wary about it. Help but think, was this increase in battery capacity an upgrade that OnePlus was offering, or was it more of a necessity because of the chip inside? Thankfully, it was the former. The Dimensity 1200 chip here, Mediatek's flagship 6nm chip. It sips battery. I was easily able to get a full day of use out of this, even when I was, say, testing games, testing camera, shooting a lot of camera samples, whatever it is that I was doing, I was still able to get a day out of it. Add to it, there's a 65-watt warp charger included in the box, and that can get the phone from 0 to 100 in just about 30 minutes. That's nuts. Now, the next question with Mediatek is, okay, all that's great, the numbers, they're great, but how is real-world use? What's the performance in relation to something Qualcomm? I'd say the 1200 here is comparable in performance to a Snapdragon 860. Sometimes it's a tad better, so I mean, to be precise, I'd slot it somewhere between the 860 and the 870, closer to the 860. And at this price, I wouldn't call that a bad deal at all. I've read some complaints about this one providing 10,000 points less with Antutu or something, and that's just super stupid to crib about. Benchmarks suggest that they're just numbers, right? The actual use is what counts. Even with performance mode on, beat it up performance mode does not make this phone hot. I have a YouTube short where I've done like an hour of gaming. At the end of it, there's just one point on the phone which hits 47 degrees-ish. The rest is 42, which is perfectly acceptable after an hour of intense gaming. Now, other specs include 6, 8 or 12 gigs of RAM and 128 or 256 gigs of UFS 3.1 storage. And you know how I've kind of said, hey, everything that people are cribbing about so far is not a big deal. This is a big deal. Here's where I have a bone to pick with OnePlus. 2 extra gigs of RAM does jack. So if you want to pick a 12 to 56, that's cool. The extra RAM is not going to really matter, but the storage, there's no micro SD, so the storage is going to help. But the 8128 is a waste of money. It's all the more annoying when the 6128 is actually announced. It's listed, but not available. Seems like they announced the 6128 so that they can have news articles like this. Hey, the Nord 2 launched at 28,000. But no, it didn't. Or at least it doesn't sell at that price right now. It feels like a very underhanded marketing move. I'd rather brands go for, early bird pricing. The first X number of units, we are going to sell it at this price, and then the price is going to go up. So buy it early if you want to get a good deal. This helps the actual fans, the actual people who want to invest in that brand, get a better deal. And it also helps the brand get a boost instead of making the actual fans chumps by delaying the actual value for money product, releasing it whenever they feel like the sales are slowing down. I just feel that's very stupid from a brand's end. And paying more for 2 gigs of RAM, that's not gonna make a difference. It just feels all in bad taste. And okay, ending my rant right there. You remember how I mentioned changed under the hood? The software, it's changed a lot. Well, at first glance, this might seem to be Oxygen OS, the Oxygen OS that we've all come to adore, but it isn't. It's just a skin on top of Color OS. Now, that's a result of OnePlus's merge with OPPO. Personally, I prefer Oxygen OS. I felt it was snappier, but with Color OS based Oxygen, OnePlus promises faster and more stable updates. And here, in the case of the Nord 2, 2 years of Android updates, 3 years of security patches. Color OS also has more built-in functionality. So anyways, if this means OnePlus can avoid some of the recent snafus that we've been seeing, I'd be willing to give it a chance. Now, even as somebody who's used to both Oxygen and Color OS, the interface here, right from the settings menu to the first-party apps, they just felt weird to me. I guess it's gonna take me a little bit of getting used to. But for most people, you're not going to notice a lot of difference here. And from a performance and stability point, Color OS has come a long way from its stuttery origins. So it's a pretty snappy and stable interface these days. By the way, there are some concerns on permissions which, frankly speaking, I'd say they've been blown way out of proportion. There's nothing OnePlus does on this phone that we've not seen on an OPPO or a Realme before. And when influencers had no issues with them in the past, and suddenly have issues with OnePlus, it's funny, it's sad all at once. Anyways, conclusion time. With the switch to color OS, here's the problem. There's not a lot differentiating OnePlus from Realme now. With the Realme X7 Max and even the POCO F3 GT being priced 3 to 3,500 rupees lower, the extra you pay is basically just for the better camera. And that extra, it's not just the price you're paying, it also comes with its own compromises. Both the Realme and the POCO offer higher refreshes. And the POCO even offers a higher capacity battery. So that means the Nord 2 gets a recommend only if rear camera is high priority for you. Now, if the 6 gig variant were available, that would be a different story because the price would then be 28,000, and with the HDFC discount, it would bring it down to 27. The Nord 2 then becomes a must buy. It's something you should seriously consider if the 6128 were available, because the 30 Hz difference in screen refresh isn't going to be a big deal. The battery is strong as is. So I'd be happy recommending it at 28K or 27K. But till that variant happens, till 828 is the lowest available, I'd say only go for it if camera is your highest priority. Now in other markets, especially ones where Realme and POCO don't have a presence, the Nord 2 is already a killer. So hey, you could get it. It's a good phone. So there you have it, my take on the Nord 2. Is there anything you disagree with? Let me know your opinions in the comments below. And now it is time for me to bid you adieu. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about the video. And subscribe if you haven't yet, ring the bell icon and all that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. Until next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.